The wacky world of rugby league continues. DCE absolutely says it's a smear campaign, a personal attack on him. What is this all about? What is this story all about? We'll chat about that in this episode. The Warriors get it done for the third week in a row and put themselves into the top 8. The Tigers, Benji Marshall wanted to give it to the refs, but he couldn't. Well, what we're thinking about that. The Bulldogs, are they premiership favourites now, winning 4 in a row? And then the Panthers dynasty over in 2025 as they continue to struggle, and was the Fisher Harris and Luai the camel that broke its back. Yes, we'll obviously talk about Turbo's injuries, Cowboys getting it done, the Dragons upsetting the Storm, and everything in between. And Luai potentially out for 1 game for suspension. Let's chat about it all right here, right now on your favourite league channel, Barry Charles Footy Show. Welcome back, guys and gals, to the channel. What is happening in rugby league? We're right here, right now. DCE at the press conference goes, there's a smear campaign. And what is this all about? Because he didn't actually answer the question, what was he not happy about? Well, one thing he clarified, it's nothing to do with where he's going next year. But what are they talking about? To me, they're talking about they brought the wife into the situation. In terms of there's been a bit of leaks with Luke Keary's wife as well. That potentially that they will move to France. I think he didn't like that sort of conversation, and potentially the talk around the truth about why he's leaving Manly. There's a lot of talk that there is hate out there, but according to what DC has said so far, there's nothing to do with the coach, the CEO, etc., the Manly club itself. But with all that hogwash, is it actually true what DCE is saying? Well, I'd love to chat to him live on the channel to find out. So come on. But from what I can see, he clearly doesn't like his personal life getting into the media, which it clearly has with his wife being talked about. I think that's what he's talking about. Absolutely hating that his wife and kids get involved in the talk about where his future lies. I think he's absolutely not writing the journals talking about that. But yes, but to me, there's got to be something in Manly. There's got to be. Whether it's any other stuff they've talked about so far or something else, a fallout somewhere, because there had been fallouts before in Manly with DCE, but DCE ended up getting it. I don't think we'll ever know the true story, to be honest, unless he comes out and speaks truthfully to somebody and gives all the answers instead of diverting questions, which he is. I was thinking about this last night. DC, his career after rugby league has got to be Prime Minister. Clearly, he knows what to do. He diverts the question well. He just finds a positive spin on his talk. That's what the great politicians do. When there's something negative, they just flip it around and make it positive. I think DC for Prime Minister is where he might end up when his league career finishes. Who knows? But that's the DCC. So DC, what's going to happen with Daly Cherry Evans? I still think if he's going to stay in Sydney, it will be Roosters. Looks like the most logical. Can the Rabbitohs pull a rabbit out of the hat? They'd have to let go of Lewis Dodd for that to happen. But that would be another scenario. As Bulldogs just saying they don't want DCE, but they technically do. They're just saying that to put the sniff off the thing. It could easily be that as well. The Dragons, he ain't going to Dragons. Let's put it this way. He wants to go to a premiership team, so you got Roosters, Rabbits. I think potentially all these Bulldogs, 3 teams that could potentially win the premiership. Bulldogs look the best thing right now. But Rabbitohs have got a lot of talent in their team if they could add another couple of forward picks. Add a Payne Haas to their team, then I'd say the Rabbitohs are an absolute premiership force, and that's similar to the Roosters if they had Payne Haas. That changed the story of the script and a centre as well. So potentially there, and then all the Queensland teams, would you want to go to any? Broncos is the only one, but from what I can gather is that is not happening, but it would be, for me, if he wanted to go home, that would be the best place to go if you wanted to win a premiership. But obviously money concerns would be the issue there. They could let Reynolds go and he could take their money, but I think Reynolds' money's even lower in the DCE contract than Manly offered him, so it's probably the question mark for him to go to Broncos, and the Broncos have already said no. So, but you know what happens in rugby league, anything can happen. Well, what about the upsets on the weekend that just continue to happen day after day after day? Start off with the Panthers getting absolutely ragdolled by the Rabbitohs. Then they probably should have lost by more, but that's Penrith continue to fight back all the time. The Cowboys upset, yes, upset the Raiders, but the Raiders are a flash in the pan in Vegas. They loved it over there. But reality has hit now that their club is not strong enough. They haven't got the depth and too many young guns. The Cowboys, not the Cowboys, sorry. Dragons beating the Storm. How about that one for a boil over? Yep. Even with those players out, I still thought the Storm would have won. But it's a good one for the Dragons. And then obviously the Warriors. How the hell did the Warriors come up with a win against the Tigers in this game? Tigers should have won from what I saw. They just fell asleep the last 20 minutes when it mattered, and the last 15 minutes. And that was the difference in the end, and Benji getting upset about some refereeing calls. He couldn't complain about it. You get ref calls every game. It doesn't matter. And to say that cost him the game, to me, just seems like a bit of cobwash there from Benji to try and navigate some of the disappointments. But yes, for Warriors fans out there, do you get excited? Not yet. Not yet at all. They've got to play some real top talented teams yet to really see where they're at. They beat Manly, but Manly are often known to have bad games, so you can't ride into that one. The Roosters are very much up and down. Just got up for the Penrith game, so you could argue. And the Tigers are that sort of middle of the road team this year that are going to be better than what they were, but they're not a premiership freak. So when do we see the Warriors? Well, they've got to play the top dogs. They've got to play the Bulldogs. They've got to play the Storm. They've got to play these types of teams. Once they play those teams, then you'll start to see where the Warriors are at. Also against the lower teams as well. But when they play those top teams, Penrith included, if they can start beating some of these teams 50-50, then the Warriors, you can get excited about their chances in 2025 and being an absolute boil over for the premiership even. I'm not sure if they're going to go that far, but the Warriors have definitely shown some upside, and their forward pack is there. The Warriors forward pack is there, and their youth are playing well. And if their youth can play well the whole season, then they could be the Smokies to win the whole thing. But at the moment, the Bulldogs look like the absolute team to beat. They just look above and beyond anyone at the moment, but they're in a similar fort. They beat the Sharkies, but they still got a couple of big teams they need to beat first before you can label Bulldogs grand final pretty. But on current form, the Bulldogs definitely look like one of the teams in the grand final right here, right now. And then you could put a whole host of other teams to play against them at the moment. Can Penrith turn it around? 1-4, folks. The worst start to the season in, I don't know how long, probably 6-7 years. They have to win next week, obviously. But again, history has said, after 8 rounds in the NRL competition, if you're not in the top 4, you do not win the competition. If you don't win 4 games, you don't win the competition. One team's already there. Absolutely, one team's already there. Thank you very much. The Bulldogs are a chance of winning it. And now we've got about 7 teams that are already on 3 wins, something like that. So you'd expect quite a few of them to make it there. So they only have to win 1 more of the next 4 games to make it. So that's celebration for those teams. But then you've got other teams lower down, like Parramatta. Parramatta have to win them all, the next 4 games. That ain't going to happen, so Parramatta's season is done, folks. Parramatta's season is done. But getting back to Penrith, they've got to win 3 of the next 4. Can they do it? I'm not convinced. They can. They clearly can. Obviously, Cleary back will be important. But if he got injured next week and out, they don't have Luai. They don't have Fisher Harris. I think they've really have lost the depth they've had before. They could get away with it when they had Luai on the team. But now they don't have Luai on the team. He was another halfback. He might have been more of a 5'8", but he delivered. Dylan Brown's not delivering, folks. There's a difference. Luai was able to deliver at number 7 when Nathan Cleary was out. Now that Nathan Cleary is out, they're losing because they don't have Luai. And also the grunt in the middle, the Fisher Harris. He's a key to the defence as well, folks. Don't forget with Isaiah, these fellas are key to defence with the fullback. You got Dylan Edwards out as well. So there is a few things that Panthers could just quickly turn it around, and they can. I'm not saying their season's done and dusted yet, but they're going to have to start winning shortly. Otherwise, yes, they'll be out the door and won't even make the top 8 the way they're going. We will see. I don't expect that. I expect Panthers to turn it around. But whether they can win the premiership or not, that's a $1 million question. So Jerome Luai is going to be out 4 weeks. I'm interested to see how that goes. Turbo injury. Yet again. Looks like Origin potentially out again. It's just... do Manly resign him because he just keeps getting injured? That's probably another question mark on them. Do they go Hail Mary on someone else like a Payne Huss and just go, boom, we'll keep Leo Hopewadi at least money. We'll spend the money on that and then we'll try and find a halfback as well. I think that's potentially where Manly may go. I doubt they will go that way, but because they like Tom Turbo so much. But he's injury prone and it's big questions marks for that. But anyway, that's the Barry Charles Footy Show for this episode, and I'll be back with another video very, very soon.